Alright, welcome back to New Saga, Anime Review, episode number 5. Reviewing the 5th episode of the series, Reunion at Dawn. Now, when I initially looked at this, I thought this episode was supposed to come out last week. Because I went on there, all I saw was 3 subbed. And then for some reason on Saturday I look again, and it was released. Probably released really late, per se. Because I usually review Thursday this one, but for some reason wasn't released that day, so there's that. So I may be reviewing next episode on Thursday. That's a maybe. So in this particular episode, we have Kyle, Theron, and Urza. We start out basically where they're basically right in the carriage. Of course, they theorize who actually is behind all this. Of course, the princess obviously figures out her brother's behind it because he really wants the throne, and the fact that the captain of the 2nd Battalion, who somebody Kyle knows, is also co-conspirator, she found out while being drugged. And apparently wasn't really effective. Like, it was supposed to knock her out, apparently. But despite the fact that they were drugged, you could hear the whole conversation, which normally that wouldn't work, but apparently in this show it does. So I think, maybe we'll hide in that village in order to basically hide. No. Apparently, according to Kyle, Xenos will apparently just carpet bomb the place in order to kill the princess. He is that ruthless. And of course, the princess does ask him later on, like, how do you know certain things like this? He's like, well, we'll talk about it later. Which, of course, maybe they will. So, they theorize, so basically they're going to go back to the place they were at, the big city. They're going to hide in a population of 10,000. The prince, of course, is being a complete idiot and basically wants the captain himself to go out, despite the fact he couldn't go himself. So they think of like, maybe go out the pursuers. And they do. So the plan is to basically plow right through the pursuers to get back to town. Of course, you have Kyle driving the carriage. You have Urza on top basically firing some magic at them. And managed to trample it down about 30 people. So then, thanks to his rampage, the carriage wagon is damaged. So they take the horses, and basically Lisa, Urza, and Kyle proceed to use this wind walk while everyone else rides the horses. Theron has to stay behind to deal with the 30 soldiers. Which, of course, basically, according to Kyle, despite the fact he may appear lazy, he actually is really strong in combat. It's a fake persona. So he's like, I surrender, don't kill me. And then he proceeds to chop the man's head off. The commander of this group. And he kills a lot of them. And then, like, each of them manages to trim it down to, like, 8 people thanks to slicing and explosions. And then, like, yeah, I'm bored. You 8 can leave. And they get out the wounded. And he's like, nah. Takes it and just throws like a grenade, like a comedy sketch. And they all die. Yep, and then Theron probably figures out some way to catch everybody else. So this is when, of course, the captain himself comes out, and Kyle volunteers to do it himself because he doesn't know him. And the reason why he knows him, basically, and of course they have a brief skirmish they have in the episode, like, he broke my illusion. And it turns out the reason why Kyle knows this man is because he trained him in combat in the previous timeline. Also, the bird basically comes to play, like, and Prince like, a talking sword, like, very useful. Yeah, this is Sarah Winehouse, probably have a lot of fun, be a talking bird. Also go back to her magic girl form. And Theron is voiced by Kyle Phillips. I think he does a really good job voicing him. Oh yeah, definitely. You would think a character named Urza, like, is it Conley like a beard voicing? Oh no, it's someone completely different. As far as I can tell, I don't think Conley has ever voiced an elf. As far as I can tell, I've never heard her voicing an elf. All of her characters are basically human women. Oh yes, basically her character from Fairy Tail, Urza Scarlet, is the daughter of a woman who became a dragon. But aside from that, excuse me. Yeah, like that's the general thing when it comes to Con Beard. She doesn't generally, well, Mirlan. There's something about her later on, but she's a mage, but she looks human. But that's the thing with Colleen. She's never voiced an elf. You're like, really? She's never voiced an elf? Well, she has voiced a vampire, obviously. But an elf? Not really. I mean, I'm looking at basically like a lot of the stuff I've seen her in, and she's never done an elf. Well, she tends to voice very strong women, yes, but elves, I have never seen her voice an elf before. Of all the shows I've watched, it's definitely true. I've not seen necessarily every single show she's been in. I've seen a lot of them, but she's never done elf. Nope, never has. As for the reason why, she's basically not a succubus. That's the only kind of non-human character I can think of she's ever done. But aside from that, I don't think she's ever really, the ones I've seen, none of them tend to be elves. But if you think about it, there's only technically been, actually that was a, well, generally put every single series I've seen her in, generally put, it's always human females. She's never voiced a non-human female. Not really, no. Well, the only I can think of as not human is probably Mocha Vamp. It was the inner one. But generally put, she does voice basically human females. Who does voice Urza, you might ask, in this show? Well, she's voiced by Jacelyn Thomas. Yeah, that's who voices her. Oh, in the case of Melina, she's the princess. There's no credit for a dub actor just yet, per se, but we might have one soon. Who knows? Yeah. But that's going to be pretty much a particular video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, to notifications. Next, to a comment corner, and it's back to the notorious talker runs the world's greatest clan. Okay, next video. Bye.